Gorgeous afternoon here on the banks of the Tennessee River. Tennessee at 1-1 playing host to Texas El Paso. UTEP 0-2, nation's longest losing streak at 14, trying to break that here on the road on Rocky Top. You're watching SEC Network football presented by Allstate. Dave Neal alongside former Georgia quarterback DJ Shockley. And DJ, I just had to run through this because here's what's coming up for Tennessee after this game. Florida, Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, and South Carolina.
That's a good stretch. That's
yeah.
a tough.
So, I mean, this is a big deal in terms of you got to get your team right. You got to figure things out today against UTEP. In regards to that, what will you be looking for? What is the DJ checklist, if you will?
Well, Dave, there's a few things I'm looking for in this ball game, and it starts up front with the offense and defensive line. They got to do a better job in this ball game of pushing the pocket, but also defensively and offensively changing the line of scrimmage. Also, want to see Jared Guantano. I want to see him be mistake-free in this ball game, do a great job of not turning the football over. And in the secondary on defense, don't give up the big plays. They've had a tendency to give up those big plays, but also contain the mobile quarterback that is in Kai Loxley here at UTEP.
And I think the other big aspect of that, DJ, is that you got to stay healthy. Not a deep Tennessee team. That is another critical area, and Tennessee would love to get out, get a lead, and be able to play a bunch of guys today. Well, down on the sidelines, enjoying another warm afternoon for us is Dawn Davenport. Let's check in with Dawn.
Hey, Dave, slow starts have killed this Tennessee offense. They've scored 0 touchdowns in the first quarter this season. Last week, finished with -1 yard rushing after one. Offensive coordinator Ty Helton told me he's preached their mantra, start fast, finish strong all week long. But he also pointed out that he is still learning what this group does well. He said he's going to try and help them get into a groove early on today.
We'll see how that works out. -1 yard of offense in the first quarter last weekend. Garantano, first play. Nice little bullet out over the 35-yard line. That'll be right on the 35, so that should be good enough to move the chains. And Dominic Wood-Anderson is a guy that certainly coaches talk to us about, that they're trying to get him more involved in the offense. They love his presence. They think he has got a great future here, not only in Knoxville, but down the road as well. Garantano, little run game for him out over the 40 to the 41. Gain of 6. Take a look at how the Vols will go at it offensively. Offensive line certainly has been an issue, but Marquez Callaway has been their guy on the outside. They'll need him to play well today, but you know, you talk about winning the trenches, DJ. We'll keep an eye on that offensive line. They've had some injuries, moving guys around, and I guess, as you say, combinations are important.
Yeah, they've done a pretty decent job, but they got a lot of guys mixing and matching right now early in the season.
Not much of a hole there. Ty Chandler on the carry. He'll pick up a yard. Ty, good to see him back on the field. A.J. Hotkins with the tackle for UTEP.
Here's a good chance right here on third down to get something started. You had a couple good plays to start off with to give Jared some confidence throwing the football. A big third down, and you got a manageable third down here as well.
Brandon Johnson goes in motion on a third down. Garantano to throw, and that one is dropped right at midfield. And that'll bring up a punting situation.
Well, I think you had what you wanted there. You had one-on-one in the slot right there, doing Connie Smith, doing a great job of really trying to get that football out. Brandon Johnson just does not have enough hands to hold that football in, and not a successful drive to start the game if you're a Tennessee Vol fan.
Joe Doyle to punt it away. Janeel back to return, and he is hit by his own guy. A 32-yard punt, no return on the play, but UTEP with the football, and here comes Kai Loxley, his second career start at the Junior College Offensive Player of the Year. What do you like about Kai?
Well, he is a dynamic guy. He can do it with both his arms and his legs. JUCO Player of the Year, you mentioned that, 40 touchdowns as a JUCO quarterback, and he's done a great job for them so far. He's a leading rusher and passer. But Kai, once he does a great job at the line of scrimmage, look for him to be multifaceted in this ball game today, being a threat with his legs as well as throwing the football.
So from the 25-yard line, first handoff goes to Audrez Wadley, their junior running back out of Kendale, Texas. He had a nice game last week, averaging 9.5 yards a carry.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that's very dependable for him. They expect Quadre to get a lot of carries today, and see what you did there on first down. Pick up 3-4 yards on first down, make a easy second down call here where you can do anything you want with it, but expect Quadre to have a big day today, especially with the football in his hand.
Of course, a new coaching staff for this UTEP team who went winless a year ago, and offense was just abysmal. That pass is caught. Boy, that was close to being picked off. Kenyon Foster comes up with the grab. Theo Jackson was right there. And you look at the Miners starting lineup. We talked to you about Quadrez Wadley, who has rushed for 139 yards on just 15 carries this year. But again, offensive line issue for the Miners. They've lost a couple of guys that they were counting on injury-wise. So they've really had to mix and match. Boy, nowhere to run for Wadley there. He'll lose a couple.
Yeah, Dave, you talk about up front for UTEP and what they've lost as we got a penalty on the play. Darren Gatewood and Greg Long are two guys up front who they lost up front, who were critical players for them and played a lot of football for them.
Offsides, defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Alexis Johnson. A little bit of a head start. That'll move it over the 40 to the 41-yard line. Tennessee defensively this season giving up 21.5 points per game through a couple of contests. This is what Loxley can do so well. He dives for the first down. He'll have it. They'll spot it at the 48. Give him 7 yards. Nigel Warrior, the first Tennessee player there.
And that's what you want to do with a guy of his fashion, is get him on the edge as Tennessee has a player down. Looks like Darren Kirkland there, one of their stout linebackers who played a lot of football for him. It's good. He's coming off on his own power. But, Dave, you bring up Kyle Loxley getting on the edge. That's kind of what they do with him. They like to get him in those run-pass situations and force Tennessee to come up or stay back. And he did a good job of taking what was there and picking up another first down to extend the chains. And UTEP is off to a pretty good start here on their first drive.
Loxley will swing it out to Forrest McKee. They will spot him. He lost the football, but out of bounds at midfield. That's a 3-yard pickup. This offense under the direction of Mike Canales, who happens to be in his first year at UTEP after spending a year here in Knoxville as the quarterback's coach under Butch Jones. He is such a positive guy, isn't he?
He's such a positive guy. And we asked him, are you going to be able to use some of your familiarity with playing against this Tennessee defense? He said, oh, yeah. I'll find times when I can use what I know against these guys.
Loxley, little quarterback keeper. Loxley driving the football out to the 47-yard line, a 4-yard pickup. That'll make it third down. There's Dana Dimmel now in his first year. He replaced Sean Kugler, who was there from 2013 till last year. Didn't make it through the season last year. But he's a guy that's gone to some places, Coach Dimmel, and tried to turn things around. Did it at Wyoming. Also was head coach at the University of Houston. Timeout taken by Tennessee with a 3rd and 4 on the horizon. We'll step aside for a moment as Jeremy Pruitt talks to his troops. Back in a moment. Scoreless here in the first quarter, Tennessee and UTEP. We told you that Jeremy Pruitt wanted to talk to his troops there, taking the timeout. I didn't realize he was going to talk like this, though.
Well, you can see the intensity that Jeremy Pruitt brings to this new program. There's a new culture. There's a new way they practice. He is bringing that intensity early. And the only way these guys know how is the way he coaches, and he gets after them, as you can see.
DeAndre Johnson, if he wasn't awake at kickoff, he is awake now.
No doubt about it.
On third down, some stunts up front, pass is incomplete. Trying to hit Janelle there, and it's a 4th down opportunity here, and here comes the minor kicking unit.
Nice job by Mekhi Abernathy there. He's got man coverage on the inside slant, does a good job of sticking to him. Maybe if Kai throws a better football, they can pick up this 1st down, but a great job there of being where you're supposed to be and getting UTEP off the field after a promising drive to start.
Mitchell Crawford to punt it away. Another Australian. Boy, there are a dozen or so Australian punters in college football these days. A high kick almost straight up in the air. Let's see where this hits. It'll be fair caught at the 19-yard line. So Tennessee's offense back on the field for the 2nd time. Don't forget, coming up next, week 3 of college football season continues with Colorado State and Florida at 4 o'clock Eastern, and then Louisiana Monroe and Texas A&M coming your way at 7:30, our SEC Saturday night contest. Now, the SEC Network alternate channel will also feature North Texas at Arkansas at 4. And if you don't know by now, you can find the alternate channel in your area by going to secnetwork.com/channel. And if you're too lazy to do that, just go to the ESPN
app.
Go to the app.
No doubt.
Pretty simple.
App is pretty awesome. Get you going. But those 3 games, all 3 teams looking to bounce back after losses last week. So be good for those teams to get back into the winning slide here as Tennessee starts off and try to get a better drive than they did in that first drive. We only had 1 first down.
Volunteers look like they'll line up in an I formation behind quarterback Jarrett Garantano, a redshirt sophomore. Coming near side. That pass is caught by Josh Palmer. They'll mark him out of bounds right around the 28.5-yard line. See if that's good enough to move the chains. I believe it will be. We talked about this Tennessee offense and how they have been a little sluggish out of the gate. Just -1 yard on the ground against East Tennessee State in the first quarter last year. Wildcat formation. Tim Jordan turning the corner. Jordan has a 1st down close to the 45-yard line. Michael Lewis runs him out of bounds. That's a gain of 13.
Nice job of Tim Jordan here getting outside. The ball wanted to go inside, so he had to bounce it. And that's a great job of blocking on the outside as well. Tennessee's doing a great job now of using that run game, and hopefully it's going to set up the pass. But nice job of run by Mr. Tim Jordan.
Little counter play. That one goes to Ty Chandler. He turns the corner on the far side, has another 1st down. That's 13 more yards. So 26 yards on the ground the last 2 touches for Tennessee backs.
2 good backs in Ty Chandler and Tim Jordan. Ty Chandler is the more shifty guy in space who can make guys miss. But we just talked about for the run game to go, the guys on the perimeter have to do a great job of blocking. Marquez Callaway, who we know is a dynamic receiver, he does a great job of blocking on the edge as well with that big 6'2" frame.
Big hole up the middle for Garantano as he will fall forward shy of the 35. That'll be a 6-yard gain.
And Dave, this is something that they're expecting more out of Jarrett. They said he has the ability to run the football. Now, nothing's not there, so don't force it. Make a great decision and go pick up positive yards for your offense. This is the type of thing they expect out of Jarrett coming into this season. Now he's starting to show the ability to maybe use his legs to extend plays as well.
Straight handoff goes to Jordan, and he is met in the hole by a couple of minor defenders led by Jamar Smith. Starting this week, had a career-high 10 tackles last week in the loss to UNLV. A senior out of Lyons, Georgia, by way of Holmes Community College, coming close to home.
Close enough where the family can come and see you play, so always good when the family can come down.
So 3rd down, and let's call it 4. Boy, Jordan tried to cut it back to the right, slipped. And now you're looking at 4th down and 3 maybe. See what Jeremy Pruitt wants to do. He's going to go for it here, kind of in that no-man no man's land, and he'll line up with Garantano at quarterback.
And they give UTEP a little credit. They went all out blitz there to stop the run, did a great job. Now comes a big fourth down play. Marquez Callaway up here at the top. Maybe gets one-on-one coverage if you like it.
Quick throw. Callaway makes the catch and had to use all 6'2". First down, Tennessee.
And here's the matchup you talk about. Nothing but a simple stop route. Get to the top of the chart, top of it, and come out of it. Just a strong catch there, making sure you get to the chains. That's what you do when you have a big-time player. You give him the shot at it on your big-time down, and he makes a big play.
12th catch of the year for Marquez. Marquez had 24 grabs last year. There's the old toss to Jordan. Makes a man miss and pushed out of bounds around the 20. Gain of 8. Missed tackle there allowed him to pick up a few extra yards, but that's an issue certainly the Miners trying to correct this week. They had a bunch of missed tackles against UNLV.
Great job on that left side of the line. That's part of this offensive scheme that they want to get better at. And Jameer Johnson, Trey Smith, who are really excited about it, getting out on the edge and really creating a lane for Tim to run through on that particular run.
So a good down and distance here, 2nd and 3. C.J. Reese, Dylan Parsi coming up to make the play. Gain of 2, so that'll bring up a 3rd down and a yard.
I think you got everything open to you right now, Dave. You got the opportunity to throw it if you want to because you trust your quarterback, but also you have talented backs enough to be able to pick up 1 yard. But I think this is a part of the field, a part of the 3rd and 1 where Jeremy Poole wants to see his offensive line step up and kind of manhandle this defensive front and get you 1 yard when you need it the most.
10th play of the drive. Boy, Jordan having to fight for every inch. Chandler, and let's see if he got enough for the first down. And they will give him the first down.
And that's just good for confidence for that offensive line to be able to move the line of scrimmage. We talked about it in the open, being more physical. Jerry Pruitt wants this offensive line to be more aggressive. And to pick up that 3rd and 1 is big to keep this drive going. But now look for Jared Garantano to make sure that he takes care of the football, especially down here in the red zone.
Garantano over the middle, pass is caught. That goes to Dominic Wood-Anderson. Already a couple of catches today for the junior out of Spring Valley, California by way of Arizona Western Community College.
Nice job here, but look at Ty Chandler pick up the blitz right there at the last moment. Linebacker comes looping in, giving his quarterback just that extra time to get the football to Dominic Wood-Anderson. Just great execution up front, and the backs have to be able to pick up protection as well. They did a good job of doing that and allows Garantano time to find the open receiver and pick up another big first down.
2 catches in 2 games for Wood-Anderson and has 2 this afternoon, the #1 junior college tight end a year ago. There's a flag down in the middle of that line of scrimmage. Chandler takes it into the end zone, but let's wait a moment.
Personal foul, chop block, number 75 and 51 offense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Boy, the old somebody goes high, somebody goes low. Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, whatever a guy's engaged, you can see it right here. Guy was engaged, you can't go low when another guy's engaged with the defensive guy, and that's the call you're going to get right there on your right side. They're going to call that every time, and he's trying to cut off that backside edge. We understand that, but you cannot do it while another guy's engaged, and Drew Richmond has to do a better job of knowing that.
Well, these are the things that just Jeremy Pruitt was talking to us about. When we get down in that red zone, we can't go backwards. Well, that's what they've done here. It is now 1st and goal. The ball is spotted at the 22. Does give you a little room, though, to work some routes. They'll stay on the ground with it and go with Tim Jordan.
I like the way you're talking there, Dave. You're talking like a QB right there that want to throw the football down the field.
It's always fun to throw the football, isn't it?
But you're right. This is a very uncharacteristic of a Tennessee team. They haven't really had tons of penalties this season. Doing a great job of being disciplined. But, hey, being backed up in the red zone, that's something you like, but it gives your offense another chance to work on their passing game here, which I expect to happen right here.
So now 2nd and goal. Garantano has time, and that one is behind his receiver, Brandon Johnson. Well, there's a sight you don't want to see if you're a Tennessee fan, because they're already very thin at the O-line, and Jerome Carvin, the true freshman, left the game a moment ago, was certainly in some pain as the staff looks at him now. But, boy, there's not a lot of depth on that O-line, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're right about that. They already lost Brandon Kennedy to a knee injury in practice last week. He was started at center, and now to lose another guy. Coach Pruitt is really adamant about they need more depth, and right now having another guy go down is not boding well up front for this offensive line.
So 3rd and goal from the 20. The whistles will stop the play.
Delay of game. Offense number 2. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Yeah. They were inside the 10-yard line, and now they're looking at 3rd and goal from the 25.
And these are things that they can overcome. These are things that you see usually happen, but they have a young team. They got a lot of young guys playing on offense, and these are the middle areas that they have to get over. And now it's about trying to salvage good position to get a field goal.
3-man rush. They'll come near side with it. That one's caught by Jawan Jennings. Jawan with his 4th catch of the season. And now it is definitely a kicking situation, but a possession that certainly will not end the way that Coach Pruitt was hoping it would win, as they got it inside the 10-yard line. Now they line up for a field goal. Samaglia will attempt the 38-yarder. 8 of 13 last year, 1 of 1 this season. And he will split the uprights. So Tennessee puts the first points on the board. They were hoping touchdown, but they'll take the 3 with 2:39 to go in the opening quarter as they lead UTEP.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. Are you in good hands?
Boy, you look at some of the father-son combos, coaches in FBS. There are 8 of those. Of course, Dabo, Will, and Drew Sweeney, and then Mike and Jay McIntyre at Colorado, Gary and Blake Patterson over at TCU. They got their hands full today. And here at UTEP, Dana and Winston Dimmel. Winston transfers over from Kansas State. Of course, some others, Rick and Brent Stockstill at Middle Tennessee. They have been doing that for a long time. But there are the Dimmels, and it's DJ, you talked about it. You played for your dad in high school last year for Winston to play under his dad, and it's got to be a meaningful year.
Oh, yeah. He was kind of choked up about the opportunity to be able to play for his dad, and he was mutual the other way around as well.
Well, Dana Dimmel will try to come up with some plays here to get his team on the board. They trail 3-0. Timeout. Back in a moment. 3-0 Tennessee out in front of UTEP. First quarter football. Let's go downstairs, check in with Dawn.
Yeah, Dave, DJ, Jeremy Pruitt was already familiar with quarterback Kai Loxley. Coached with his dad, now Alabama OC Mike Loxley. And that also means today is a reunion for Kai's mom, Kia, and Pruitt's wife, Casey. The two are very good friends from their time at Alabama. Casey even invited her to watch the game with her in the coach's suite today. Guys, I don't know if she accepted. Coach Pruitt told me it might be tough to watch up there with a bunch of Tennessee fans.
It's got to be tough coaching against, guys you spent so much time with, and now you got their sons out there, and it brings a whole nother dynamic to it. Handoff goes to Wadley, and he'll pick up 5.
My question is, can Kai cheer in the Tennessee coach's box if her son does well, or does she have to hold it in?
Oh, I think you got to hold it in, or they will find you another box. Of course, Kai Locksley, originally committed to Florida State, did not go there, ended up at Texas. They tried him at wide receiver and at quarterback, didn't like the fit, ends up going to junior college, and here he is at UTEP. Flag is down in the backfield. Pass is caught close to the first down. They'll spot it right at the 35, but we'll wait on that flag.
Illegal motion, number 4, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
See Quadres Wadley there probably answered his pants a little bit. You can see they were starting to bring a little pressure. He kind of sensed the pressure was coming. Just moved a little bit before he needed to.
Mike Canales was telling us, the offensive coordinator at UTEP, a couple of things that he really focuses on for this game in terms of having success. He says we got to be efficient on first downs. We got to convert a few more third downs and eliminate unforced errors. And right there was your unforced error. And Locksley trying to take it himself. He's to the 26, trying to drive the pile. Alexis Johnson, first one there for Tennessee, gain of a couple.
You like the point where Alexis Johnson and Shy Tuttle, 2 inside guys who are forced. You see Alexis there coming off the field right there. Did a good job of holding the point right there. They tried to run a quarterback draw, spread you out, but he did a great job of holding his point. Shy Tuttle as well on the inside. Now forcing a big third down here out of UTEP, and possible good field position. They can hold him here for Tennessee.
Trayvon Hughes has the first down and a lot more. The 6'1", 237-pound junior tailback just picked up 17 yards.
Just a bad job on the right side. See Trayvon Hughes, the big-time back who's coming around that left edge. They just lose leverage on this play. Nobody is on that left side or right side for Tennessee that does who are able to hold their leverage there, and he does a great job of just creating that space and a big gain there on 3rd and 8.
Couple of tight ends for the Miners on this first down and 10. Locksley. Give him a yard. This is an offense that's predicated on the RPO, the run pass option. And for Kai Locksley, you know, he's got to make that decision.
And sometimes it's all about counting the numbers in the box. He has to do a great job of knowing when he can run it, when he has to give it, when he has to throw it. And it's all about numbers. Do we match up well inside? And you see he has to come off because his helmet came off there. But this is a UTEP offense that's doing a great job of controlling the line of scrimmage right now, running the football, throwing it when they have to. And I think this is kind of where they want to be going against this Tennessee team with a chance here, only down 3 points.
So that'll be the end of the first quarter. Ryan Metz comes in at quarterback. So after 15 minutes of play, Tennessee had a 7-minute, 41-second drive that went 60 yards, resulted in our only points of the game. It's 3-0 Tennessee. Welcome back to SEC Network Football presented by Allstate. After 15 minutes of play, Tennessee leads UTEP 3-0. Miners driving the football and had to go to their number 2 man at quarterback, Ryan Metz, for one play as Kai Locksley's helmet fell off right before the end of the first quarter. So Metz comes in and slings it, and that was an incomplete pass. Walter Dawn was the intended target, and Locksley is back on the field.
Good chance now for Locksley to show his ability to maybe throw the football down the field. He speaks about being a good processor. That's what Coach Mike Canales, his offensive coordinator, said. He's a good processor. He understands where to go with the football, and they want him to do more of that in the game, and he prepares as tough as anybody, and here's a big down for him.
Loxley hit as he throws. It's incomplete. Trying to hit Walter down.
Good job of pressure there by Darrell Taylor there for Tennessee, getting in his face there, forcing an unorthodox throw there. They had exactly what they wanted, had man coverage, had a crossing route coming, throws a little bit behind him, and unfortunately unable to complete that ball, but good pressure by number 19.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offense number 18. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So here comes the UTEP punt team. Marquez Callaway back to return this punt. He'll stand just inside the 20-yard line. End over end. That will hit it to 30 and take a Tennessee bounce. Not a very good kick from Mitchell Crawford. 19 yards on that punt. Tennessee will have good field position when we come back to Knoxville. Tennessee leading UTEP 3-0. Second quarter football here in Knoxville at Neyland Stadium. Tennessee with 97 yards of offense, but the story for this Tennessee team is they're trying to get out of the gates a little bit quicker. You see what happened in the first quarter against West Virginia and East Tennessee State, what they did here today. They had a nice drive going. I mean, it was 15 plays, but only went 60 yards. Penalties, they got it down to the 7, but penalties forced them all the way out to the 22 before they settled on a 38-yard field goal. But you know that Jeremy Pruitt's going to talk about those situations as we can't afford not to have touchdowns when we get in the red zone. Garantano going deep here, has a man, passes, caught inside the 15, down to the 12-yard line goes Josh Palmer. That is a gain of 53 yards.
Hey, this is a nice job of running, and the football that he's thrown it across the field, which allows Palmer to come across the field. Does a great job there of throwing it away from Caleb Beverly, the corner back there, and you hear the boos. They think he's kind of laying down on him, but what a big play there. I like the aggressive call there coming out of the break. Nice ball there by Jerry Garantano.
Sione Tupa is the injured player for UTEP. He will head to the sidelines, and that'll give Tennessee an opportunity to huddle up on first down.
And you like the start of Jerry Garantano. He started 6 of 8 for 97 yards. He's been efficient. He's put the ball in the right spots. But this is where it really matters down in the red zone.
Toss sweep. Madre London's first carry gets him down inside the 5, a 9-yard pickup.
And look at this. Get outside. You see your big guys on the outside. You get a pancake block, and Madre London running hard. Big first down run there, but a great job of execution up front by the lineman. See tight end pulling out. Number 81, Austin Pope, doing a good job of coming around and creating that space as well.
So second down. They can get a first down inside the 2. Ball sits just outside the 3. Handoff London left side, reaches for the goal line. No whistle, ball is loose. UTEP thinks they have it. And they do. Boy, another missed opportunity for Tennessee.
We talk about unfortunate errors. We talk about doing the little things. And I know you're fighting for extra yardage, but you have to make sure that you just secure the football when you're down here in the end zone. And here's a closer look at it. Does a good job of fighting for extra yardage. Austin Pope does a good job of leaning in. And as he reaches it out right here, you see the ball start to come loose there.
Denzel Chukukelu came up with that football. The defensive tackle out of Rockwall, Texas. Now UTEP's offense will set up at the 2-yard line. Loxley in the end zone.
Previous play is under further review.
Dave, I think the thing to watch for here is he down or is he laying on top of somebody as he's reaching for the end zone?
Right. Does the ball break the plane before the ball comes out?
It's pretty close, and you got to remember the call on the field was a fumble.
And is he down? I don't know that he hit the plane.
It doesn't look like he crossed the plane.
As much as he was perhaps down.
But it has to be indisputable evidence to show that his leg was down, and if his knee was down, and it doesn't look like he crossed the plane. But here might be a good angle to see if any part of his body part goes down. All right, Dave, you're already 2-0 on the season.
I'm going to say that there's not enough to overturn that.
I agree.
It's hard to tell. There was no whistle, right? Is he laying on top of a UTEP player?
It's tough to tell with two white pants there, but I believe we're okay with the way we're thinking, because it's hard to tell, and if the call on the field has to stand.
Yes. So let's wait on the ruling, and here it comes.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, UTEP.
Yeah, meaning they just didn't have enough. It wasn't confirmed, just didn't have enough to overturn it.
And I thought the points we brought up were pretty valid. Was his knee down? Did he cross the plane? And you couldn't tell either or. And it goes back to what we mentioned to start off. The call on the field was a fumble. But here's a big chance for this defense and Coach Sherr, the defensive coordinator, for his defense to show up as UTEP is backed up.
Wadley will drive it out to the 4-yard line, give him a couple of yards. Alexis Johnson there again for that Tennessee defensive front.
And one thing Coach Sherr talked about with his defense is he wants his defense to play with more speed. On the back end especially, but up front, be aggressive, but on the back end, play with more speed and be aggressive. This is a big chance for him to be aggressive, but also you can't let something get over your head.
Big hit right at the goal line. A loss of 3. Valen Buchanan coming up with a big hit.
This is just a tough play. He's coming off the edge. He's that nickel back, that corner coming off the edge there. Does a great job of sticking his head in there and being aggressive. And this is what he wanted to see. His defensive backs be tough, stick their head in there and make a tough tackle. And here's a big third down play for UTEP, backed up. And one thing for Kai Loxley, you got to make sure you take care of the football, especially backed up. Give him a chance to.
On the run, throw is high. Tennessee defense does their job, and they force a punting situation. And obviously not a whole lot of room in the back of that end zone.
Big stop for defense for Tennessee right there. You can see the enthusiasm of Coach Pruitt. He's excited, and like you mentioned there, Dave, not a lot of room to run right there. You got to be conscious of a holding call back there, throwing out the end zone. But it's a good job of getting that football out and giving your punter a chance to put it on his foot.
Mitchell Crawford will punt it away, and he'll be just shy of the back of the end zone by about a foot or so. Just does get the punt away. It's a good one. Callaway will field it at the 48. Quez to the 35 and drop there. A 47-yard punt. And an 11-yard return by Marquez Callaway. So outstanding field position now for Tennessee coming off the fumble in the red zone.
And we've seen them last 2 drives do a really good job of moving the football. The only issue has been when they got in the red zone, and they haven't been able to capitalize on good field position or the positivity that they've gained on those 2 drives.
They have been inside the 10-yard line twice and have just 3 points on the board. They'll run it with Jordan off the right side. He'll pick up 4. Jordan last week, 15 carries, 65 yards. Went for 118 against West Virginia. Jeremy Pruitt telling us he's got 4 backs he feels good with Chandler, Jordan, London, and the freshman Jeremy Banks. Garantano over the middle. Pass is caught. That one goes to Brandon Johnson. They will spot him at the 3-yard line, a 29-yard pickup.
This is a big-time throw here. They run 4 verticals. You got 2 inside guys running down the middle of the field. And watch Garantano's eyes. Looks right down that safety, takes him left, and does a great job of coming back to the right side and delivering a dynamic throw there. Nice pitch and catch there by Tennessee. They have to capitalize on being inside this 10-yard line again.
2 tight ends set. They'll work out of the I formation. Another 1st and goal for the Big Orange. Handoff left side. There's your touchdown. Tim Jordan from 3 yards out.
Finally capitalizing on a big drive. Finally capitalizing inside the 10-yard line. Nice hard physical run. Nice job up front as well. Creating that crease up front. Now Tennessee is something to build on as the second quarter begins.
Joe Doyle to attempt the point after. Oh, excuse me, Samaglia with the point after, and it's now 10-0 Tennessee. 3 plays, 36 yards, 1:04. Capped off by Jordan's 3-yard touchdown run. Back in Knoxville, Tennessee, where the Volunteers put up their first touchdown of the day, and they lead UTEP 10-0 with 10:49 to go here in the second quarter. It has been a good offensive show in terms of moving the football for Tennessee today. They just have struggled a little bit inside the red zone. They have 1 field goal, a fumble, and 1 touchdown in their 3 trips.
I think they heard Don talking about having a fast start. Or a faster start, I should say.
Wind starting to pick up here in Knoxville. Of course, hurricane not too far from us. Flags, really in the last hour, have really picked up their momentum. And the kickoff will be a touchback. We'll bring it out to the 25-yard line. And now let's look at the mayhem moment brought to you by Allstate. Of course, last week, Kentucky ended their 31-game losing streak to Florida, had that impressive 27-16 win on the road. Kentucky quarterback Terry Wilson accounted for 3 touchdowns last week. And, you know, Mark Stoops said something, he said it the last few years, really, but it just kind of resonates. The guys on this team have been carrying the burden of other teams that have lost to Florida, you know, and even though they weren't involved in that 31-game win streak, you feel it. So in that regard, good for Kentucky.
Great for Kentucky. Coming out of that slump, they had chances. Didn't look good in that first half, but fighting, battled, and end up breaking that streak.
That handoff goes to Joshua Fields. He is wrapped up and dropped to the turf by Paul Bain. Good start to the SEC season for Kentucky. Of course, Tennessee starts their gauntlet next weekend I mean, it is a gauntlet. They'll have Florida coming to town, but 5 straight against conference teams. Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina in that mix as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough sled for the next few weeks, and they're definitely going to put the big boy pads on and be ready to go.
He better have some big boy pads. 4-man rush. Loxley going up top. Just overthrows a man who was open on the far side. Allen Busey was there. Had a step on the freshman Alante Taylor. Loxley's only completing 43% of his passes coming into this game for 177 yards. Although he's been using his feet to do most of the damage. Came in 9th in the country in rushing among quarterbacks, averaging 84 yards a game, but has now misfired on 4 straight.
And that's a part of the game they want him to get better at. They know he can use his legs, but he's going to have to use his arms today if he wants to convert some first downs.
Pocket collapses. Tennessee's been trying to get to the quarterback for 2 weeks. They get there. Loss of 5. It's Daniel Batuli, the middle linebacker.
Batuli's a guy they're really high on. They think his upside is really good. He's a very fast and physical runner. Gets downhill, sure tackler. And they love what they're seeing out of him at that middle linebacker spot. You see the size on Daniel Batuli, but he's been a bright spot for this defense and one that Coach Scherer depends on a lot.
That's the 4th sack of the season for this Tennessee defense. Coach has been talking to us this week about we got to get more pressure on the quarterback. It worked there. Callaway calls for a fair catch. Bobbled the football. It's scooped up. Can't advance a muff punt, so they'll bring it back to the 32-yard line. But Callaway just hit him right in the chest.
That's unfortunate if you're Tennessee because he's one of your more sure-handed players, and you have him back there for this particular reason, and the ball just gets up on him a little bit too fast, and whenever you turn your hands the other way, not really good things happen that way. And you can see him turn his hands up instead of turning them down, and it hits right up against the side of his helmet, and a big turn of events here for Tennessee, and UTEP set up with great field position.
TK Powell comes up with the football, and UTEP flipped the field just like that. Who knew? Who knew it would take a punt?
Well, I'm sure they like by any means necessary.
Yeah. UTEP today offensively with 45 total yards. There's a flag that comes in late as Wadley picks up a yard. This UTEP offense really struggled last year. I mean, they were the worst team in the FBS, 130 teams in the FBS, and they were 130 in total yards. They were dead last as well in points per game.
Holding, offense, number 61, 10-yard penalty, first down.
They averaged less than 12 points a game last year. Didn't score more than 21 in any game, and they were held to 10 points or less 5 times last year. But they did score 24 last week in that loss, and I mean, you're trying to push every button if you're Dana Dimmel and this entire staff. But if you know, they always talk about you need the Jimmies and Joes to make it work, right?
Absolutely. You got to have playmakers to make it. And right now, those guys are not showing up.
Loxley, a little miscommunication between he and his receiver. That'll be incomplete.
This is a part of the game where UTEP has to get better. And you talked about the total amount of yards that they have right now. They have to be able to throw the football down the field because right now Tennessee is just sitting on every route. They're playing press coverage. They're playing man. They're not really concerned about the pass game. And if they're going to be successful all today, they have to throw the football and complete some passes to get Tennessee a little bit of on edge.
Second down and 20. Tennessee rushes 4. Loxley fires, passes knocked away at the last moment. Coming in late was Sean Schamberger to knock that one away. Looking for Kenyon Foster.
a great job on coverage right here. You can see he has a cheese on him, but I think if he throws this football across the field and takes a little bit of air out of it, I think Keon Foster has a chance to make a play on it. But great play by Sean Schamberger there to stay in that hip pocket and don't panic when the ball's in the air and force a pass interference. Does a great job there just fighting through it and getting that penalty.
Yeah, Keenan Foster had a step or two for a moment, but it disappeared in a flash. So now 3rd down and 20. The whistles will stop the play. Looks like we'll have some movement against UTEP.
False start offense, number 61, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Well, it was already difficult to call a 3rd down and 20, so let's just try to make it even more difficult and make it 3rd and 25, right?
Yeah, good luck to Coach Canales on this call.
Right.
Not sure what you're going to do with 3rd and 25, but I think we got a pretty good idea. Draw, screen, some in that fashion to give yourself a chance. Don't want to hurt yourself anymore.
Why not just throw it to the end zone, right? If they pick it off,
see what happens.
Right. Loxley trying to make a couple of defenders miss, and he'll get it to the 40-yard line and out of bounds. So not much there as Micah Abernathy runs him out of bounds. Tongbo got in there to kind of break the pocket down for Tennessee. So a 9-yard pickup, well shy of the 1st down.
Well, it looked like it was going to be a promising drive. Great field position for UTEP. Not able to capitalize on that. Getting some unforced penalties there and push them all the way back. There's Marquez Callaway back again to try to secure this punt this time.
End over end kick. Callaway says he wants no part of this one, and it's a good idea as it travels into the end zone. Time out on the field. Tennessee leads it 10-0, 7:53 to go before halftime. Tennessee on top of UTEP, 7:53. We got a second. Let's go downstairs, check in with Dawn.
Well, Dave, Coach Pruitt told us he has seen Jarrett Garantano mature in the last months. I got to tell you, I worked a couple of Tennessee games last year. He is a completely different guy down here on the sidelines, holding court with his wide receivers, his running backs. He's vocal. You can just tell he is much more confident.
And that's something this team desperately needs, are some of those leaders. You can talk to every single coach, and they'll tell you right now the coaches have been the leaders, but there's Garantano talking to his troops. And Dawn's exactly right. I mean, you know, last year, you go back to the opening game last year against Georgia Tech, and he's sitting on the bench by himself, right, not even a part of the team. And, you know, that was a much talked about.
I think there's a lot to say when you know this is your team, when you know you're the guy and you control this offense. It speaks a lot to him being able to take over now vocally and be that leader for his offense.
Makes a nice throw there to the outside. That one goes to Juwan Jennings, and he will pick up 15 yards and a 1st down for Tennessee. A lot of Tennessee fans hoping Juwan Jennings gets more involved offensively. The redshirt junior a couple years ago had 40 catches, 580 yards, 7 touchdowns. Of course, last year broke his hand early against Tech. Didn't play the rest of the year. Was actually kicked off the team 3 days before the end of the season. Coach Pruitt brought him back onto the team when he got the job, and still trying to fight through some nagging injuries.
And Juwan Jennings is a guy they're expecting a lot of. Coach Pruitt said he's done everything that he's asked of him, especially this fall, this summer. He's done everything he's asked of him. He's not missed a class. He's done a great job of coming and competing. Calls him very instinctive. So Coach Pruitt has high hope for Juwan Jennings this season and expects him to come out and really be a factor for this Tennessee offense.
False start against Tennessee. Like Jameer Johnson might have popped up out of his stance. We'll see.
False start offense, number 58, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And these are the type of plays they're wanting to stay away from. You have a great gain on 1st down, giving you positive yardage. And now you have an unforced area of coming out of your stance a little bit there before the play snap. And now you're back in the 2nd and long. It kind of changed the dynamic of how you want to call plays if your offensive coordinator Tyson Helton. Those things can't happen if they want to be successful offensively.
Ty Chandler in the backfield alongside Garantano. Chandler will pick up the blitz, and Garantano runs right behind him. Lost a shoe, I think he did. First down for Jarrett Garantano. A little emotion at the end of that play as well. 13-yard run.
And here's the confidence that you're speaking about in Jarrett Garantano. You see the intensity. He's kind of taking on the attitude of his head coach there. He's excited. He's expecting big things out of himself in this season. So it's great to see him becoming a more vocal leader for his team, and I think his whole team's going to feed off of it.
Keller Christ will come in at quarterback for a snap as Garantano works on the shoe. Handoff goes to Chandler. He'll pick up 3 yards, and Garantano back on the field.
Well, Dave, unlike yourself, he had to put his shoe on himself. We know you're a big-time guy.
Got people for that.
Yeah, you got people for that. So Jarrett didn't have anybody to kind of help him with that.
Oh, I wish.
But you see the numbers by Jarrett. He's played an excellent football today. He's done a great job of distributing, and he's taken off. He's using his legs more than we've seen in the past.
2nd down and 7. Garantano, a little shoulder fake. Pocket collapses. Nowhere to go. He'll be dropped around the power tee at the 48-yard line. A loss of 8.
I think this is kind of the plan for UTEP. We've seen the last 2 plays. They brought some pressure off the edges, trying to contain Jarrett, and they've done it. The last few plays he's had the ability to get out of it, and that time the pocket kind of collapsed on him, but he still did a good job of holding on to the football because that could have been dangerous coming off his backside.
3rd down coming up. Now it's 3rd and 15. They'll go 3 receivers to the wide side. In the backfield, Madre London. Flag comes in. There'll be a hold against Tennessee. Garantano is thrown to the turf around the 40, but this one, well, on 3rd down, they may decline it. Ball will be at the 40. We'll see. Richmond with a hold. It looked like he was losing his balance and took a UTEP player with him as he was falling to the turf.
Right off the edge here, you can see coming right on the inside. You're right, he kind of lost his balance there. Mike Soto with the pressure there, number 55 for UTEP.
UTEP can't figure out if they want to take the penalty or decline the penalty.
Illegal formation offense, the penalty is declined. Holding offense, number 51, that penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
So the ball will be spotted at the 40-yard line. And Tennessee's punt team out on the field.
And we've talked about it a couple times, Dave. You had a couple penalties that have deterred drives for you. And you think you're doing some good things and you're moving the football, but you just have those unforced errors at times that stall drives for you. And we've seen that in this first half.
Janelle back to return the punt. It'll take a UTEP bounce, but still downed inside the 15-yard line. 3:38 to go before halftime. Vols leading the Miners by 10. Well, this is not the same guy we sat with yesterday. He was calm, cool, collected in the meetings, but today Jeremy Pruitt is bringing it on the sidelines. You know, he is the head coach, but he is still hands-on with his defense. He and Kevin Scherer are in lockstep running that defense.
One thing you won't have to worry about with Coach Pruitt is the lack of energy. He's going to bring tons of energy. He's an excitable guy and loves the game of football, and you can see it on every snap here at Tennessee.
3:38 to go before halftime. UTEP backed up inside the 15-yard line. They'll go straight handoff to Trayvon Hughes. No gain on the play. Daniel Batuli led the way.
Tennessee's defense done a pretty good job today of shutting down what is a dual threat quarterback and also an offense that's pretty good in rushing the football. So up front, they've done a great job of controlling that line of scrimmage so far. Let's see if they can continue that as the half nears.
Little slant. Pass caught at the 21, and that'll be shy of the first down by a couple of yards. Nice catch there by Warren Reddix.
We had a chance to talk to Kyle Phillips yesterday, and he talked about playing against a quarterback like Kyle Loxley and how everybody has to do their job and be on point. You see Kyle Loxley there. He spoke about how they have to make sure they rush him and rush him smartly so everybody stay inside their lanes.
5-man front from Tennessee. Winston Dimmel in the backfield alongside Loxley as the flag comes out.
False start, offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Told you about the 3 items on the agenda for UTEP offensively: be efficient on first downs, convert a few 3rd downs, and eliminate unforced errors. Well, they were not efficient on first down.
Right.
They're having trouble converting 3rd downs, and there's yet another unforced error.
And you go from 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 6. It makes the play call just a little bit different.
UTEP 1 for 6 on 3rd downs. 4-man rush. Loxley trying to find a little bit of room. He'll take it to the 22-yard line. That'll be shy of the first down by a couple of yards. And Alante Taylor bringing him down. Alante, part of that crew in the back end, featuring 3 freshmen, true freshmen: Bryce Thompson, Trayvon Flowers. Guys they think have a bright future in that Volunteer secondary. 1:53 to go before halftime. Coming up at halftime, you can watch the live performance of the Pride of the Southland Band on SEC Network Plus. You can start streaming now on the ESPN app. Those guys guys and gals do such a great job of entertaining the fans before a game. It's an outstanding pregame tradition here, running through the Power T. That ball will roll down close to the 30, maybe inside the 30. And the seconds ticking away, 1:40.
I think the confidence of Marquez Callaway is kind of diminished a little bit on the punt return, because that's one that you see him talking to Coach Pruitt's in his ear again. But that's one you probably see him come up and catch, and you probably lose 15, 20 yards because of the roll. If he's more confident, I think he comes up and he fair catches that football and saves him yardage on this drive.
Can't fumble it if you don't touch it, right?
Makes perfect sense to us, but not to Pruitt. He wants you to come up and catch that football.
1 timeout for Tennessee. Ty Chandler. Keller Chris, by the way, back in the game. Took 1 snap a moment ago, but looks like he'll handle this series. Chandler picked up 8. There is Kyler, the transfer, the graduate transfer. Off to the right side goes Chandler. Flag comes in late. I think they're going to get Drew Richmond on the outside for a hold.
And we've seen this a couple times. Whenever we see a back kind of bounce it to the outside and a defensive player kind of extends, and you see Drew Richard.
Holding, offense, number 51, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And whenever a running back bounces outside, obviously the defensive guy's going to try to run to him, and Drew Richmond tries to stay engaged and ends up getting the color. Well, you see Keller Chris in the game, and it's nothing to, talk about Jared Guantano about, but when we spoke to Coach Pruitt yesterday, he mentioned he wanted to get Keller Chris in the ball game, get him some reps, and it just depends on the feel of the game, but they wanted to play him regardless of what was going on in the ball game offensively.
Second down and 12. Cut back from Chandler, making a couple of guys miss and will be knocked out of bounds. Spotted around the 35-yard line, so give him 7 yards on that carry.
We talk about Ty Chandler's ability to make guys miss in space. They did a good job of coming up and having that safety fill that gap right in the middle. He makes that one guy miss and picks up positive yards here. And you're talking about coming in at the end of the first half here. Looks like Tennessee is maybe content with going into halftime with this 10-0 lead because there's not much of a hurry out of them offensively.
Fifth-year senior Keller Christ. Low throw, bounces off the shins of Brandon Johnson. Now it's 4th down and minute 5 on the clock. That was not a good series.
Yeah, I know that's not ideal for offensive coordinator Tyson Helton on how they handled that particular drive. Obviously, the holding penalty hurt you a little bit, but you still had 3rd and 4 and a chance to convert, unable to come up with it. You see the two quarterbacks talking back and forth, and that's what you like out of these two guys. Coach Pruitt talked about these guys are really competitive, but they want each other to succeed.
Boy, booming kick. Caught out of bounds around the, let's see, they'll spot it at the 14, a 50-yard punt. Hey, Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern. Marty Smith, Ryan McGee, a.k.a. Marty and McGee, the TV show, will be on the SEC Network. And of course, you can see that show live on the ESPN app as well. Marty and McGee. Couple of good old Southern boys.
Yeah, love watching those guys go at it. It just looks like they're sitting in their living room just having a good time. Great show there. You guys got to check that out, especially if you haven't seen it. It's worth your while.
First down and 10 for the Miners. Trying to get something going here on first down. Pass is caught by Foster. Buchanan brings him down, a pickup of 14. Clock will start to run again now.
Nice quick throw slant on the outside. You got off coverage. Nice accurate pass. That's what he's going to have to do more in the second half to create these long yardage plays to be able to move this football.
Loxley running out of room, will dump it off, trying to hit Wadley. It's incomplete. And UTEP may be thinking, let's just get to the locker room here. It's a manageable game.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that can happen right here at the end of this half that could maybe you're going in with a bad taste in your mouth. But like you said, it's only 10-0. They're in this ball game. They got a good chance of moving the football. They can cut down on some of the penalties and errors, but I think they're in a good spot if they go into halftime in the same spot.
UTEP will get the football to start the second half. And a much different start for UTEP defensively. Last week against UNLV, they allowed the Rebels to score 6 touchdowns and a field goal in the first 8 possessions against UNLV. And today it's just a 10-0 Tennessee lead after one half of football here in Knoxville. Tennessee racks up 259 yards of offense, and they hold UTEP to 85, but there were quite a few miscues by the Big Orange that cost them some points on the big board. Let's go down to Dawn.
Well, Coach Pruitt, offensive execution, what's the biggest thing you point out to your group at the half?
Well, first off, turnovers, turning the ball over, penalties, shooting ourselves in the foot. Not a whole lot of guys play with a lot of intensity, so it's not very good.
Defensively, what's been key in limiting their quarterback?
Well, for one, we need to get some turnovers. We got to keep the wide receivers cut off, and we got to keep the guy in the pocket.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Something tells me that won't be a very fun locker room at halftime
No,
for
it will not
Tennessee.
be.
Vols have turned it over a couple of times. They came into the game just one of 3 teams that had played 2 games that had not turned the football over. LSU and Clemson the others, but that streak has stopped. Tennessee, though, leads it by 10 here at the break. Now, after the break, we'll be back with the SEC Network halftime report. More in a moment. You're watching SEC Network football presented by Allstate. Moments away from second half football, where Tennessee, a heavy favorite coming into this one, leading 10-0 after 2 quarters of football. Dave Neal back alongside my partner, former Georgia quarterback DJ Shockley. And DJ, just overall big picture, your thoughts about how Tennessee Volunteers played in the first 30 minutes.
I thought they were a little stagnant at times. I thought they had some opportunities in that first half to really put up big points. I thought defensively did a good job, but offensively you have to control the narrative, which is scoring in the red zone and not turning the football over.
Well, let's take a look at Playing with Style, brought to you by Belk. And for that, we will focus on their quarterback, Jarrett Garantano.
I thought he's done a great job. Well, defensively, they've done a good job of controlling that line of scrimmage. And you love defensively changing the pace, getting upfield, using penetration. That's just a great job with his D-line showing up. And here's Jarrett Garantano throwing the football down the field. He hasn't made many mistakes. He's played really well, took care of the football. And the best thing I like about him, he's made great decisions. When it's not there, you take off, you run, and he's done a good job of that and showing a little emotion while at it. Defensively, not giving up those big plays, not allowing this UTEP team to gash him in the run game. And we talked about it coming in. They've given up some big plays down the field. They've done a good job of keeping the top on the defense and also containing Kyle Loxley in this big ball game where he loves to run and move around. They've done a good job of keeping their eyes on him and being in good discipline when they rush him.
You know, Jeremy Pruitt left the field right before halftime and talking to Dawn, and he was not a happy man. What was his message?
You know, I think he comes into the second half saying we have to be better disciplined. We also go do a better job of moving the football, but defensively, we got to make sure we contain him. And I think that's the biggest storyline coming in is make sure we go out and we play really well. And we look at the checklist. We've done a great job they've done a great job of controlling all of these different things. They've won in the trenches. Garantano's been mistake-free that we talked about. Haven't given up those big plays. UTEP has tried to push the football down the field, but also they contain Kai. But I think the penalties, the mistakes, the undisciplined stuff is what Pruitt is really harping on at halftime.
Of course, 5 straight conference games coming up for Tennessee. After this one, beginning with Florida. So certainly you want to get everything buttoned up as much as you can before that onslaught of teams. For more on the UTEP side of things, let's go downstairs, check in with Dawn.
Yeah, Dave, just talked to head coach Dana Dimmel. Really happy with how his defense has overcome adversity in this one. He said they need to force a turnover or 2 in this second half to continue to have a chance. Stretch the field is what he said they want to do offensively. He said we've got to hit some of those big passes in order to open up the run game. DJ, I think you pointed that out in the first half.
And Tennessee's been susceptible to giving up that deep ball, but they have played it pretty well today. Pocket has collapsed a few times on Loxley. Again, has to scramble to the near side. Pass is caught right around the 31-yard line by Warren Reddick's gain of 6. UTEP offensively just now a total of 91 yards, 53 on the ground, 38 through the air.
And Dave, I think that last play was a direct correlation of how that first half went. Tennessee's sitting on all their routes. He wanted to throw a quick hitch to the outside. The corner was just sitting there waiting on it. They don't have a threat of throwing the football down the field right now, which is why Tennessee's sitting on everything.
Loxley will just throw it out of bounds. Nowhere to go. How to bring up a 3rd down. Darren Kirkland getting some pressure on Loxley. Jeremy Pruitt doesn't hand out praise easily, but there's one guy that he talked to us about yesterday that, of course, Darren fighting through some injuries in his career, but he's a guy that plays the game the way Jeremy Pruitt likes it to be played.
Absolutely. It's one of those players where when he's on the field, Coach said his hair is on fire. He plays with speed. He plays with intensity. And when he's out there, he does a great job for this defense.
Had a pick six last week with 33 yards. On third down, Loxley running out of room. That one is incomplete. It'll be fourth down. Walter Dawn was the intended target, defended by Buchanan.
Give that D-line a lot of credit as well. They did a good job of keeping him inside the pocket. He only got outside once things were really covered down the field. So great coverage on the back end, but up front doing a great job of keeping him inside, forcing him outside, and going to his left side. Not the most comfortable spot for any quarterback.
Mitchell Crawford to punt it away for UTEP. Boy, good kick under duress. Callaway catches it. Bumps into his own man, a 43-yard punt, but nothing on the return. But the Vols will have possession of the football. Hey, now it's time to take a look at DirecTV. More for your college football thing as we update other games around the SEC. And Kentucky leading 17-3. Benny Snell, 68 yards and a touchdown already. Meanwhile, Georgia got off to a great start. Didn't take him long to score. Elijah Holyfield had a 67-yard run on their opening drive. Got stopped just shy of the goal line, but Georgia put it through the put it in the end zone on their opening possession and have not looked back since then. 42-7 the tally in Athens. Big hole off the left side. There goes Chandler. Can anybody catch him? No, they won't. Touchdown, Tennessee, 81 yards.
Well, I think the halftime speech actually worked for Jeremy Pruitt there. Defense gets a 3 and out. Now you come back and you go 81 yards here. Look at the block by the fullback here. He comes around and kicks out. There's the key block by the 81. And then Tim Jordan, look at that, just crushing it down the line. It's a great job there of running. And you talk about Ty Chandler taking it all the way for 81 yards for a touchdown. Nice run.
Tim Jordan, not Ty Chandler on that run, and it was impressive off the left side. They like to run to the left side today. We've seen a lot of that.
Trey Smith, their left tackle, is big. He is the guy who they really love. He's a big 5-star kid. He does a great job. Nice run, nice finish, and you see Ty Chandler going big. 81 yards. Tennessee up 17-0.
There is Ty Chandler. Didn't play last week. Got a little ding. Was suited up but didn't go. Coach has said if needed, probably could have got in there, but they certainly needed him today as he takes off on 81-yard touchdown run. Longest rush in 12 years since LaMarcus Coker's 87-yard rush against Vanderbilt back in 2006.
Wow.
Ty Chandler with the big-time touchdown run to get Tennessee off and running here in the second half.
Those are the explosive plays you look for out of Tennessee. And it just doesn't have to happen in the pass game. It can happen in the run game when you have explosive players like Ty Chandler who can take it 81 yards and outrun all kind of angles to get in the end zone. Just a great job there by the offensive line, as well as Austin Pope, who come around as the blocking fullback, playing tight end though.
Going to reset the play clock. UTEP had the football to start the second half, but forced to punt it away. Didn't take long for Tennessee to put 7 on the board. Loxley going deep down the middle. Bounces off the helmet and incomplete on the back end. Bryce Thompson back there for the Vols, and I think it hit him right on top of the helmet.
Yeah, Dave, this is one of those freshmen that you talked about earlier. 3 freshmen in that secondary they're really excited about. As Kavika Johnson, the receiver, tries to go up forward, comes right off his helmet. But Coach Pruitt and Coach Sher are really high on these two guys. Bryson Thompson, Alontae Taylor, two freshmen. Thinks the future is really bright for those young guys.
You mentioned Thompson and Taylor, two guys that played quarterback in high school, still learning how to play in the secondary. He says a lot of times these guys that go both ways for high school quarterbacks, running backs, they'll go play in the secondary. They end up, he says, they approach it like it's their time to rest.
Yeah, he said usually you're just sitting back there and you're waiting on something to come to you, and now they got to actually cover somebody. So you see these freshmen are learning on the run, but you can see as playing as true freshmen, their talent must be really good to be playing early.
Third down coming up. Miners 1 for 8 on third down. That'll be a first down over the 40 to the 42-yard line. A gain of 8 for Wadley.
We thought we'd see more of Quadridge Wiley in this ball game because of the ability to run the football. He's one of their tough runners, and they need him to be able to move these chains. And they did a good job in the first half of trying to get him the football. Now's a chance to kind of extend that.
Moxley, nowhere to go. Two on the play, and that'll bring up a second down and long. And you know, this is a situation for UTEP. They got to pick up some first downs. Their defense has been on the field quite a bit this afternoon. It's a hot day with an early kick. And as this game moves along,
you're totally spot on with that, Dave. This is an offense that has to throw the football. I mean, Tennessee's pretty stout up front and not allowing a lot of big runs, so Kai's going to have to make a few plays with his arm.
Loxley threw it behind Wadley, who had a chance for a lot of yardage had he been able to hold on to that football.
I think part of it is he's been hit a couple times. He had some pressure in his face, and he just rushed this pass. He didn't need to rush it. He had time. Nobody was even out there. This was a big play waiting to happen. And I'm sure Coach Mike Canales, offensive coordinator, is going to be really, really disappointed in that outcome.
Pressure comes. Loxley tries to get rid of it. Will they spot him down at the 35? Darrell Taylor getting right in the face of Loxley.
Yeah, you see him fighting through, and he continued to come around that edge, and he held him up just long enough for the Cavalry to get there. And you see Kirkland coming in there late, jumping in from the backside. Just great pursuit by everybody in that orange.
Well, they ruled it an incomplete pass. It took them a while after the discussion to determine incomplete pass, so they'll spot it back at the line of scrimmage, which was at the 44-yard line. Mitchell Crawford will punt it away. Callaway makes the fair catch, a 40-yard kick, and here comes the Tennessee offense onto the field. We'll see what they have in store for us after the timeout.
Let me tell you this. I got in this business for the kids. Chancellor Davenport talked about I was a K through third grade PE teacher. I'd done it for 3 years. I told her in the interview, I taught everybody from 2001 to 2004 how to tie shoes in the city of Fort Payne. I started suggesting Velcro.
Jeremy Pruitt loves to teach, and he's still teaching. And Extra Yard for Teachers Week is a week-long celebration of teachers led by the College Football Playoff Foundation through its Extra Yard for Teachers platform. Visit the College Football Playoff Foundation website at www.cfp-foundation.org. to learn more about Extra Yard for Teachers Week and see how you can get involved. And it was great to talk to him about it. And for more on Jeremy Pruitt, Teacher Pruitt, let's go down to Dawn.
Yeah, guys, of course he loves coaching football. He told us, though, he loved teaching those younger kids. His time really helped him to realize that backgrounds don't matter. Taught kids from all different walks of life. He said at the end of the day, they were all just looking for love. From a teaching standpoint, guys, he said he would choose the elementary age group over and over again.
Says those kids always came to school smiling. When does it stop, though? At some point, that smile stops. I can't remember.
I think it stops right when you get into high school. Stuff gets a little bit harder for you.
You know, one of the guys we talked about in terms of, impacts on him was Marquez Callaway. Was an outstanding basketball player. And actually, his high school basketball coach was his 6th grade teacher. And they continued a relationship on and on. He said outside of his parents that Jamal Garman had a big influence on his life and direction. Garantano going deep, looking for Callaway. It's incomplete. Marquez, you could tell that he was a really, really good basketball player down in Warner Robins, Georgia. But he said that he realized that football was where he was going to go. But you could tell he misses playing.
Oh yeah, he talked about not having much time in the football season, but he said they get after a little bit in the off season and intramural ball. He gets to play a little basketball that he loves. He's a great athlete, so he can play. One interesting thing about this Vols offense.
There goes the handoff to London. He'll have the first down at the 40, pick up a 12.
As we saw the big run last series by Ty Chandler, the Tennessee Vols already have more plays of 50-plus yards this season in 2018 with 5 than they had all of last season, which was 4.
Tennessee's offense now up to 364 yards today. UTEP sitting on 110. Comes near side. Brandon Johnson makes a man miss, stays in bounds, and he'll have the first down in minor territory at about the 47-yard line, a 13-yard pickup.
There's what you want out of Jared Lantano. At the line of scrimmage, giving them opportunity to, is it run, is it pass, what the numbers look like on the outside. You got one-on-one with one of your more dynamic players in Brandon Johnson. Give him a chance in space, and you pick up positive yardage. Just a great job there of Garantano doing a little bit more that was asked of him at the line of scrimmage.
Jeremy Banks in the backfield now. They'll play fake it to him. Garantano all day to throw. Looking for Callaway, just out of his reach. Well, you see Tennessee trying to make a concerted effort, go down the field with the football.
And that's what they're going to need, especially we talked about the stretch that's coming up. They're going to have to force the football down the field. They're going to have to throw it a little bit more than they probably want to, but putting this stuff on tape, showing that they have the ability to throw it down the field, is big.
Nowhere to run for Banks, the true freshman out of Cordova, Tennessee. 4-star recruit coming out of high school. A lot to like about this young man. Just going to be tough to get a bunch of carries with this group with Chandler Jordan and Madre London in front of him. Matter of fact, what's interesting is Madre London, of course, who is a grad transfer, 5th-year senior, actually is kind of sweet mates, if you will,
yeah,
with the freshman Banks, kind of trying to put him under his wing and teach him the ropes of college football.
And you love that out of him. He's an older guy that understands it and doing a good job of trying to teach.
Well, a nice catch reaching behind him was London.
You see Madre London there, who we just talked about, the 5th-year senior who rooms with Jeremy Banks, the freshman in the dorms. And that's just doing a little bit more. And you saw the one-handed catch, and this is a very deep backfield for Tennessee, and lots of guys get touches, but it's good to see those guys be able to catch the football out the backfield as well.
A couple of touchdowns last week for London. Doyle will punt it away. That will hit at the 5. And that'll be downed right around the 7-yard line, but a flag is down. And there it is.
I read the lips right, Dave. I think they said 12 Tennessee. So let's see if my lip reading skills are up to par right now.
Well, the ball sits right around the 7-yard line. The flag is about the 12-yard line. This is a rather lengthy discussion here.
There is no foul on the play. First down, UTEP.
Somebody talk somebody out of something there as you talk about the lengthy discussion there.
Well, they got it cleared up. UTEP backed up again along the checkerboard end zone. Handoff goes to Hughes. He's wrapped up by Kyle Phillips. Gain of only a yard. Fun talking with Kyle yesterday. He and Shy Tuttle side by side, usually on that D line. There's Shy. Those two guys are roommates the last couple of years as they wrap up their Tennessee careers. You know, it's funny. You talk to all these guys like we do over the years, and you obviously lived it, but, you know, you don't think it's ever going to end until it's like your senior year and you start thinking about this is it, right?
And that's what he said, too. As we got a late flag that comes in here.
Half the distance to the goal, second down.
But then you go back to Kyle Phillips. He talked about it. He said, I don't even want to think about it because I want to cherish each and every day. But he's definitely done well for himself here at the University of Tennessee. He's actually already graduated with a bachelor's degree in sports management in 3 years, pursuing his master's right now in sports management. So not only is he a good football player, he's a really smart student athlete.
Yeah, and he said he didn't come with a lot of AP classes to kind of ahead of the curve. He earned it in 3 years. Loxley will pick up 5 on the play. That was a lot like me at Florida State.
You took all AP classes? Yeah, I know. Yeah. Me and you both.
Yeah. They were sad to see me leave, man. I was just feeding the coffers down there in Tallahassee.
Tallahassee's a good place to be, so it's tough to leave. I understand you want to extend your academic career.
Didn't you think about going to Florida State?
I did. I was close to being a Seminole.
We'd love to have you down there. We'd love to have you right now, as a matter of fact. On third down, Loxley trying to reach that 18-yard line, but can't get there. He's pushed out of bounds after a gain of 3 by Kirkland.
Kirkland did a good job of pushing him out of bounds, but it was the pressure coming around again from Kyle Phillips that forced him really wide and not able to turn that corner. So Kyle Phillips on that particular doing a great job there. And this Tennessee defense has had 7 pressures of Kyle Loxley today, which is what they want defensively.
Yeah, been a big topic of discussion around here. How can we get to the quarterback? And it's not always a sack, as they tell you. It's about the disruption. There's a flag comes in. Will it be roughing or running into the kicker? It's 4th down and about 5. They may not. That may be just shy.
There is no foul for running into the kicker. He was out of the tackle box.
Well, that's when that rugby style kind of hurts you right there. you're trying to run and kick it and get that. You see as he's running out of it, that tackle body extends maybe 3 or 4 yards from where he starts from.
That's tricky. That is
very tricky, yeah, because not as wide.
Nonetheless, Tennessee will get the football at the 41 of UTEP. Well, Monday at 7 o'clock Eastern, it's Thinking Out Loud with Greg McElroy and Marcus Spears. They'll talk football and want your participation via social media throughout the show. You can also catch that streaming live on the ESPN app. Boys haven't...
They haven't tweeted you at all yet?
No, haven't got to me yet.
The invite?
I got a lot of people to get to. But
we got to flood their timeline with that.
Keller Christ in at quarterback, Tim Jordan in at running back.
Keller Christ, a guy who's 11-2 as a starter. He's played tons of football. He's been a guy that they really have depended on, and he's coming here and he's worked hard. He's competed and earned a chance to play this early in his year. So Keller Christ, a guy who they expect to see some good things out of and want to see it happen today.
A gain of 1 by Jordan. Keller Christ. You know, so much was made about Keller coming in as a quarterback at Stanford that went 11-2. Played in 23 games overall. 59% completion percentage, and people thought they just kind of wrote off Jarrett Garantano like this guy was going to come in, and I think it's a real testament to Jarrett and the work he put in the offseason to hold off a guy that's played a lot of major college football.
You're right. When you see these guys come in here, you kind of assume that they've done all the research and this is a place they expected to come in and take a job, and Jarrett just he didn't give it away. He did a great job in the fall camp, and Coach Pruitt said he earned the right to be the guy, and we've seen it in the first 3 games. He's played pretty well.
Joe Doyle, the redshirt freshman out of Farragut High School here in Knoxville, will punt it away. It'll hit at the 5. Tennessee can't catch up to it. Into the end zone it goes. So a touchback. 4:25 to go here in the third quarter. Tennessee up by 17. (17-0) Tennessee out in front of UTEP. Miners on a 14-game skid, longest losing streak in the FBS right now. Tennessee has a lengthy losing streak. They'll try to break next week. They have lost 9 consecutive games in SEC play. Their last conference win came November 19th, 2016 against Missouri, where they won 63-37.
They're going to have Florida coming in here too, so Florida's going to be really from their first SEC loss against Kentucky too, so it should be a good matchup.
Nowhere to run for Fields. He'll lose a yard. First man there's Emmett Gooden. Gooden coming off an outstanding game. The junior college transfer. Led the team in total tackles last week with 8. The last chance U star from Independence Community College.
We've seen a couple of these guys from the last chance U story actually making an impact on their team once they get here, and Emmett Gooden has done it as well. And you see the size, a good athletic player there on the inside who definitely can push the pocket from the middle.
Coach Pruitt says he just has to do it every day, looking for consistency. Here's Loxley. He has consistently been rushed out of the pocket, and that one should have been picked off. Dropped on the back end by Nigel Warrior, but a flag back around the quarterback. Let's see if this isn't a late hit.
It's number 94.
Matthew
15-yard
Butler.
penalty, automatic first down.
Matthew Butler, the sophomore defensive end.
Yeah, that's that last extra step that gets him. He takes that one last extra step and the extra push. They're going to call that 9 times out of 10, and you want to protect these quarterbacks, but Nigel Warrior there. That ball I thought should have been thrown probably 2 steps before that, and it was complete. He had the receiver wide open coming across, but that's one play I know that Matthew Butler's going to want back.
Trying to set up a screen. They will do so to Winston Dimmel, who was popped immediately. That'll be a loss of 2 on the play. DeAndre Johnson, the sophomore out of Miami, who we saw get chewed out earlier in this game, making a nice play.
Think there'll be any interaction by him and Coach Pruitt there? Not really. He kind of expects that out of him, but a great job of getting off blocks. He had 2 linemen out there. He did a good job of fighting through those blocks and making that physical play there. Looks to be a little shaken up. Hopefully he's all right. But a great play there by DeAndre Johnson to make that open field tackle.
Timeout taken by UTEP. Dana Dimmel. His first year as a head coach, long time. Kansas State assistant coach with Bill Snyder. Brought some guys with him from that K-State staff, trying to bring the K-State way with him to UTEP.
You talk about coming from K-State. He averaged almost 33 points a game as the OC, 6.2 yards a play. So he's used to pushing the ball down the field and scoring tons of points.
Mike Canales is offensive coordinator. Mike Cox is defensive coordinator. Jeremy Pruitt, of course, in his first year. Both these guys trying to resurrect programs.
I thought you asked them point blank, what's it going to take to get this program going in the right direction? We talked about unity, ownership, and seeing improvement.
Big hit on the outside. First one there was Bryce Thompson, cleaned up on the back end as well. Just a team effort right now by the Volunteers defensively. A lot of guys getting some snaps.
Well, you like to see guys running to the football. And that's one thing that Coach Pruitt has stressed to him is we have to run first and then be there to make the play when it's there. They've done a good job of that today, of really swarming to the football.
Another long 3rd down for UTEP. Three-man rush. Loxley swarmed by 4 orange jerseys. He will wind up losing 3. We talk about the team effort, and there's a prime example.
You saw Jonathan Kongbo coming from the backside, another player who's expecting big things out of. 6'5", 254, 5th-year senior. You see Pruitt with a lot of energy. They're excited about the way his team was flying to the football. Jonathan Kongbo there, just a stout player who was, when he came out of the JUCO, was the #1 player. Has struggled at times, but really showing up today.
Callaway will make the catch. Next week, Florida for the Tennessee Volunteers. What a series that has been over the years. There have been some dramatic games, but perhaps none more so than last year. You see what's ahead, but this was it last year. Tennessee, Florida ended with a 63-yard Hail Mary touchdown pass from Franks to Cleveland. The Gators blew a 10-point lead in the final 5 minutes of the game. Florida led 6-3 heading into the 4th quarter, but then the two teams combined for 37 points, 420 yards over the final quarter. Florida wins at 26-20. Just amazing conclusion to that one down in Gainesville. Ty Chandler came close to breaking another one. Had an 81-yarder earlier today. That one picks up 16.
Tennessee's found something with this toss sweep. This is the play they ran exactly to the other side this past time. You see Ty's number on the day, done a great job. The average is up there. That 81-yarder definitely helped with the average, but he's run hard. They're being more physical at the point of attack as well when coming around the edge blocking.
Out of the I formation. Chandler stays in the game. Chased down by Chris Richardson in the middle of that defense. The junior out of Oak Hills, California, a 300-pounder.
And one thing that goes unnoticed is on that particular play, Jared Cantano does a good job of changing the play to the other side because the safety comes down to the right side. He sees it. He goes like a little opposite call and goes to the other side, and they pick up positive yards because of it.
Garantano couldn't break the tackle of Mike Soda. That's a loss of 6 on the play.
There's Mike Soda. He does a good job of just swimming through number 58, Jameer Johnson, and getting the sack there. Just unproductive there if you're Tennessee offensively, trying to make some plays here and coming up with a big sack. Now you end up with a big third down.
Timeout on the field. Tennessee leading 17-0 after 3 quarters of play. Well, the good thing for Tennessee fans, their club leads 17-0 as we start the final 15 minutes here on the banks of the Tennessee River.
See what you did there, Dave. I see that.
Segue. That pass is incomplete, but a flag comes in. They were trying to hit the tight end, Dominic Wood-Anderson. Dylan Parsi was the one in coverage for UTEP.
Yeah, it's got that left hand. See that left hand's wrapped all around him. They're going to call that every single time. Tugs at him, but right at the end, that left hand pulls the body of the receiver, Dominic Wood-Anderson. So you're going to get that call pretty much every time.
Wood-Anderson was the #1 ranked junior college tight end last year out of Arizona Western Community College.
Pass interference defense, number 6. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
You know, and Wood-Anderson, you know, anytime you get Alabama chasing you down, Alabama came in late, tried to recruit him pretty hard, fits well into this offense for sure. Tyson Helton loves to use the tight end. Needed him to improve his blocking skills a little bit. They feel like he has accomplished that. We know he's a great pass catcher. Good solid run from Tim Jordan. Brought down by A.J. Hotchkins. Gain of 8.
You're talking about Wood-Anderson. I like the fact that they've had a concerted effort to try to get him the football today. The tight end, like you mentioned, is a big part of this offense. Trying to get him more involved is going to be huge as they get into this gauntlet that we've already talked about.
Toss sweep. That one goes to Jordan. Pick up 3, and that'll be good enough for the first down.
We see he's been running back by committee today, and all guys have done a great job. Talking about Ty Chandler, who's rushed for 145 yards today, 11 rushes, and you see number 33 coming to the ball game, Jeremy Banks, the highly touted freshman that they really want to see some more out of. This is a running back unit that they're going to lean on a lot this season.
Boy, nowhere to run for Jeremy Banks. He got popped as soon as he got the handoff. He'll lose 4. Mike Soda, the minor there, to lay the hit on the freshman. Well, I tell you what, the wind is really picking up now. It's even changed directions since we started.
And you're right, that might be why they're starting to run the football a little bit more because of the wind. And obviously you got to play in it, but being up by 17, you don't want any unforced errors or turnovers to happen because of the wind's picking up.
Starting to mess up my hair. You don't have that problem.
I don't have that issue, Dave. I can grow it out maybe. Not too much, but yeah.
Second down. Handoff right side. London, he'll get it to the 30. Pick up 8 yards. Kahani Smith dragging him down to the turf.
The wind actually feels pretty good upon my bald head up here in the booth, Dave.
I know.
It's forcing your hair to kind of go a little opposite way you want it, but it's a good breeze.
London with 29 yards on 3 carries today. Tennessee, as a team, has rushed for 253. They've thrown for 154. Boy, nice move by Brandon Johnson. He'll get it down to the 20-yard line. He'll pick up 10 yards. That'll move the chains. Dylan Parsi brings him down.
Another smart play here. They were coming with all-out blitz. The run game was not going to be there. You're going to be outnumbered. You throw it on the perimeter and have one of you guys like Brandon Johnson pick up positive yards and a first down for you.
Spin move by London doesn't amount to much. It'll be 2nd down and 7 coming up. Tennessee just trying to chew up this clock now. 12 minutes roughly to go in the contest.
You look at Jared, and those are the type of plays that are not going to be on the stat sheet. Those are the type of plays that, when they look back at the film, are going to be win plays for Tennessee because of the decision-making he made, not running into a loaded box.
Left side, Chandler stays on his feet inside the 5 down to the 4-yard line, a gain of 13.
You can see why they love Ty Chandler. Look at the tough, hard, physical running, but look at the big guys up front. Number 70, Ryan Johnson, the center, does a great job of creating that space in there, pushing his guy out of the way. And then you see Ty Chandler running hard, picking up extra yards, running through tackles.
Boy, he and Tim Jordan are like twins. Quick throw to the outside. There goes Juwan Jennings for the touchdown. That was a nice drive by the Tennessee Volunteers.
Nice job again, Jared Guantano making the right decision. Could have easily handed this football off and maybe walked in the end zone. But you have numbers on the outside. You got 2 big bodies in Juwan Jennings and Marquez Callaway out there blocking. And it's an easy walk-in touchdown for Juwan Jennings.
Samaglia will attempt the point after. Delay of game against Tennessee, it appears.
We're going on the offense. Delay of game, offense. 5-yard penalty.
Well, that drive was 11 plays, 71 yards, a little over 5 minutes off the clock. Garantano improving his numbers today, 12 of 16, 168. Came in completing 71% of his passes. Point after's up and good, and still no interceptions for Garantano. He has looked sharp today. They'll need to be real sharp next week when the Gators come a-calling. This time he finds Juwan Jennings for the touchdown. Big Orange lead at 24-0. Tennessee leading 24-0. 11:14 to go here on this Saturday afternoon. Tennessee trying to push their record to 2-1. UTEP still winless. Going back, their last win was back in the 2016 season. Tennessee now with 437 yards of offense. UTEP with 114. Well, they've thrown for 37. They have rushed for 77.
Wow. Wow. Not the offensive production I know they looked at coming into this ball game. They wanted.
Janelle will take it at the goal line. Still on his feet out to the 25-yard line. Well, Florida, Tennessee next week. Some more great games in this series. This one, 2001, a matchup that was rescheduled to the end of the season. Travis Steven had 226 yards rushing. Gators rallied in the second half with Rex Grossman's TD pass to Carlos Perez. The ensuing two-point conversion attempt failed, though, and Tennessee had their first win in Gainesville since 1971 as they win 34-32. You look at the series history between these two clubs, Florida up by 7 overall. Of course, last year, just that stunning conclusion with the Hail Mary in the end zone.
Been a lot of great games in this rivalry.
Oh, gosh, there have been some good ones.
Got a lot of great players, a lot of NFL veterans that have been on these two fields playing for Tennessee and Florida, and I expect next week to be no different.
Some of the battles they had back in the 90s, Philip Fulmer and Steve Spurrier were going at it.
Oh, yeah.
That was some big boy football going on.
You're right about that.
Little end around. Trayvon Hughes will pick up 11 yards.
Seems like every time Trayvon Hughes has the football, something positive happens. We saw him earlier have a big run, and he's a tough runner at 6'1", 237. He packs a punch when you come hit him, and he's done a great job whenever he's had the football, the chance to run.
Well, Hughes breaks a tackle in the backfield. Will end up getting 2 out of nothing. Hughes, the junior, big boy, 237 pounds. He's a guy that started as a running back. They moved him to linebacker, and now he's back as a running back. Certainly he's got the build to be a linebacker at 6'1", 237.
You can see when he runs the football, he runs like a linebacker. He's looking for contact every time he runs.
Second down. Some corner pressure. UTEP will throw that way, but nothing doing. They hit Dimmel with the football. Loss of 2 on the play. Will Ignat making a nice play for the Volunteers, a sophomore out of Huntsville, Alabama.
We've seen it a couple times that they've tried to set up a screen, but Tennessee does a great job of staying at home, and then it's all about open field tackling. So I think Coach Pruitt and Coach Sherry are going to be really excited about watching this film and seeing open field tackle.
Tennessee late getting their folks on the field. UTEP in no hurry, and now Tennessee has a chance to get set. Four-man rush. Loxley got nobody open. Will throw back the other way and finds a man. Bought himself some time. They got to get it to the 47. Can't do it. The tight end, David Lucero, making the catch. Boy, Loxley keeping that one alive as long as he possibly could.
Yeah, that's the athleticism you like, but eventually a fast defense like Tennessee is going to eventually get there. Kyle Phillips, you see coming in right there with the pressure from the inside. And Loxley doing everything he can to try to extend this play and end up finding a receiver out on the right side to David Lucero to make a play. Unfortunately, come up a little bit short.
Callaway makes a fair catch on the 45-yard punt. Tennessee has the football, 8:23 to go in this one. Jeremy Pruitt's team in control.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. Are you in good hands?
6 new head coaches in the Southeastern Conference this year, including Matt Luke, who was the interim, of course, last year. Dan Mullen, tough loss last week, trying to get it back together. And Jeremy Pruitt here at Tennessee, and boy, he brought with him an outstanding group of coaches, and he has been around some great staffs as well. Look at his resume as a collegiate coach.
Pretty good.
5 national championships he's been involved with. You can't forget what he did at Georgia, even though they didn't win a national championship. Took him to an elite defense.
I know you like the one there in 2013, huh, Dave?
That seems like a long time ago, brother. As we lose 20-0 or losing 20-0 to Syracuse today. It's been a painful run. But nonetheless, you know, I think when you start talking about this staff and how they coach, they know what it takes to win. As you look at those numbers from this staff, and they do the little things. And Dawn, they even got creative from the film.
Oh, yeah. You know Jeremy Pruitt has coached some studs. Well, guess what? He told us he made video cuts of Minka Fitzpatrick, Leonard Floyd, Reuben Foster, Deron Payne. Guys you're watching on Sundays, right? But they weren't highlights. It was all clips of busted coverage, them making mistakes. Coach Pruitt said his way of teaching his guys that, hey, it happens to the very best. You got to move on to the next play.
That's a great point there, Don. And all those guys, you watch them on Saturdays, and now you watch them on Sundays. But on Saturday, you see them flying around, making all kinds of spectacular plays in this same system. And now to see them make those same mistakes these guys are making, it kind of gives them hope, I think, a little bit.
And show them the next play where those guys would ball out a little bit after a mistake. Oh, big hole off the left side. There goes Madre London. He's out over the 40 to the 43-yard line. That'll be a 28-yard gain. Kahani Smith bringing him down.
And watch him cut this back to the backside. Does a great job of seeing it and having the vision to cut it back. And now it's just tough physical running down the field. But the vision of Madre London there was the key to it, and also those linemen getting up to that second level.
On first down, London will pick up a couple of yards. You're at the point in the game now where, you know, it's kind of that dicey situation. You want to make sure you're still installing your offense. You've been real basic. Your chance to run plays, get guys like Keller Chris some work. But at the same time, you got to make sure you get out of this one healthy.
Yeah, because you're going to need everybody going into the stretch that we've talked about with Florida coming up and tons of great competition. This is an offense that's going to need to score points and be effective and be efficient in what they've been. And I think Jared has done that, and I'm sure they're expecting the same out of Keller.
Banks tried to cut it back, but he cut it right into a white jersey. No gain on the play. Michael Lewis with his 5th tackle.
Dave, we talked some about this offensive line and how they've kind of had to regroup their offensive line up front. And Ryan Johnson is a guy who at the center spot has played pretty well. We've seen him create some spots for this offensive line. He's actually graduating in December in civil engineering in 2.5 years. How about that, Dave? 2.5 years in civil engineering.
That's impressive.
Jeremy Banks carries.
That's a guy that's getting it done in the classroom right there. I wouldn't know.
Me and you both.
Trying to break that down. Think about that. Playing football and doing that is quite the accomplishment for the redshirt sophomore. Joe Doyle back to punt again. Tennessee lost Trevor Daniel from last year, who was a real weapon for a number of seasons for Tennessee. End over end line drive kick that'll hit it to 20 and take a favorable Tennessee bounce inside the 10-yard line for a 42-yard punt. 4:56 to go in this one. Tennessee trying to close it out. Well, we've talked about the stretch of Florida, Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, South Carolina all coming up. These are the things you wanted to see today as Tennessee gets ready for that run.
And I thought they did a great job up front. We're talking about rushing for over 300 yards in this game. The O-line doing their job. Derek Lontano, he's been mistake-free, hasn't turned the football over, been really good with it. No big plays out of this UTEP offense today, which has been spot on for them, and also containing, which was a very, very good and mobile quarterback in Kai Loxley.
Ryan Metz now. He'll get in the game and hand it off to Joshua Fields. Paul Bain.
All 4 checks is positive, Dave. What do you think?
I think that is a good start to what will be a big week here in Knoxville. You know, other than maybe the Charlotte game, which is on November 3rd, you know, I don't know that Tennessee, the way things are playing, and, you know, Missouri's much better football team. We know Kentucky's much better. Vanderbilt's off to a good start. Other than Charlotte, this is a team that may not be favored in another game.
Yeah, you're right about that, because it's going to be a war of attrition, especially with them trying to have depth up front. And in this league, we've seen all these teams that they're going to face coming up in the next few weeks have a really, really good defensive front. And as we take a look at it, we've talked about Florida and what they've done, and Georgia, Auburn. We know both those teams up front in the trenches play really well, and we know what Alabama and South Carolina. I mean, like you mentioned, Vanderbilt and Missouri, Kentucky, all are improved. And this is a Tennessee team they're going to have to fight and claw to find wins.
3rd down and 10. They'll keep it on the ground. And Wadley will pick up 4. Flag is down on the turf.
Illegal formation offense, 5 players in the backfield. That penalty's declined. It's 4th down.
Well, by the way, the field here looks great. Almost looks like it's fake, but it's it's so nice.
You're right. I mean, their grounds crew's done a great job. It's a fast surface. It's a grass, but it's a fast surface. It's going to be fun to watch this team get after next week. All 102,000 here at Neyland Stadium.
Gets real, as they say, right?
No doubt about that.
Crawford, wobbly kick. That will bounce out of bounds around the 45-yard line. 3:02 to go in this one. 42-yard kick. Tennessee with the football when we come back. Time now for today's Capital One pivotal performance, and for that, Ty Chandler, the sophomore out of Nashville, Tennessee, has put on quite a show, including this 81-yard touchdown run. He has gone for almost 160 yards. It's the most yards rushing by a Vol since 2013. Rajon Neal went for 169 against South Alabama, averaging 13.2 yards per carry. Here goes Jeremy Banks out of bounds. Finally broke one. He's been bottled up most of the afternoon. That'll be 23 yards.
Going back to Ty Chandler, just you know why they like him. You know what he brings to the table. He has good hands out the backfield. Does a great job of getting downhill. No false steps at the line of scrimmage. And he runs through tackles. Just a tough physical runner that they're going to need in these next few games.
Looks like a false start. You could hear Keller Christ in there barking out some instructions.
For the snap, false start, offense, 51, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
And he said, "We're good, we're good." They weren't that good.
Yeah, and that's usually what the quarterback does after he changes the play, lets everybody know, all right, we're going with it. Here comes the snap count. Some guys get a little antsy, maybe because they saw a big play coming, but you got to hold your water just a little bit longer, big fella.
Banks stays on his feet, breaks a tackle, and stretches inside the 30. Gain of 6 on the play.
What sticks out about these guys, just the physicality with which they run with. And Banks is a freshman, and he runs this hard. And I think these guys understand whenever they get a chance to run the football, they got to make the most of it because of how deep they are. But Banks is another guy that is demanding the football and wants more touches.
Out of the I formation on 2nd down, Madre London in a tailback. Madre driving the pile down to the 23-yard line, a gain of 7. Christian Johnson hanging on for a ride. UTEP will take on New Mexico State next week. They'll try to snap this, what is soon to be a 15-game losing streak. Talking to defensive coordinator Mike Cox, he says on the top of his play sheet, it says be positive. These guys coming off a winless season a year ago, and you don't want to crush them early in the season. You know, you got to build them up, very similar to what Jeremy Pruitt has to do.
And I think that goes for both sides of the ball. Got to be positive. Wasn't the best outcome you wanted offensively either.
That'll be a 1st down by London, and that should run out the clock. One more snap. Don't forget, coming up 4 o'clock Eastern, Colorado State, led by Mike Bobo, former Georgia Bulldog, heading down to the swamp. See if the Gators can't get it back together after the tough defeat last week to the Kentucky Wildcats. That's coming up in about 50 minutes or so. And that'll do it for Tennessee. Tennessee's offense today over 500 yards, 512, and they held UTEP to 134. The Miners 2 of 14 on third down conversions. And I think the story for me, not only was Ty Chandler effective, I think the run game really got going for this Tennessee team. They rushed for 345 yards today. Jarrett Garantano, 12 of 16, 168 and 1 touchdown. Another efficient day for the quarterback. Big win for Tennessee. Let's go down to Dawn.
All right, thank you guys. Coach, after a slow first half, your offense got going. What was the difference?
Well, I don't know. We had one play that we ran for 80 yards, and then we put one drive together. So really the whole second half, you got to give UTEP credit. They done a good job creating negative plays for us, and we didn't put a bunch of plays together. So got one drive and one big play.
Ty Chandler missed last week, missed some time with an injury, came out and ran hard today. What impressed you the most about his performance?
Well, he broke that one long run, so he does have speed to finish.
Coach, gauntlet of an SEC schedule starts next week with Florida. What will the focus be for you guys this week?
Well, our focus is going to be like it always is on Tennessee, because we got enough to fix just between us before we start worrying about somebody else.
Thank you, Coach. Congrats.
Thank you.
Jeremy Pruitt, you take the win, but you can tell there's a lot to clean up.
Yeah. That's one thing that you always know about any head coach, regardless of win or loss. They always look at the bigger picture and understanding they have a lot to work on.
Time now to take a look at what to watch for, brought to you by Dairy Queen. And some games coming your way tonight of interest, of course. A good one tonight as Alabama and Ole Miss will square off at 7 o'clock Eastern. The Tigers battle on the Plains of Auburn. LSU and Auburn coming up at in about 20 minutes or so. And Texas A&M back on the field. See how they respond after what was a fantastic outing against Clemson last weekend. Just came up a bit short. So some good football coming your way involving SEC teams. And don't forget 4 o'clock Eastern. It will be Colorado State and Florida right here on the SEC Network. So Tennessee puts together a 500-yard performance on offense. They held UTEP to 134, and the final tally is 24-0. So for our entire crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Knoxville.